Hi guys, I'm gonna do this review sheet with you. If you weren't able to download it, or maybe you could just take a picture of it, you can always just rewatch this a couple times and make sure you're good and keep along on loose leaf paper. Okay, so for the first question, Jen tosses a coin off a bridge into a stream. So this is a quadratic equation, and I know the graph is going to look something like that. Whenever the coefficient of the quadratic term is negative, it's an upside down U. I also know that the 112 is the y-intercept. So in this situation, it's basically the height of the bridge. Or maybe the bridge is a little bit shorter in a person's arm. So, maybe plus or minus 5 feet. Okay. What is the greatest height of a coin? There's a couple ways you can find this, but one of the easiest ways is to do part of the quadratic formula. It's x is equal to negative b over 2a. You skip the plus or minus square root part. So if you do x equals negative 96, because b is 96, over 2 times negative 16, that gives you x equals 3. Now, obviously, that's not the height, but that's the time at which it reaches maximum height. So I'm actually going to do the work a little bit lower because it actually asks a very similar question. What is the height after 3 seconds? And this is going to give me the answer to both parts. So I'm going to plug in a 3. And I should get 256. So 256 feet, which in this case actually answers both questions. Normally they wouldn't be duplicate, but it doesn't really matter. So basically it's telling me right up here, it's 256 feet. That's called the vertex, similar to absolute values, the turning point vertex, same thing. Okay, how much time would it take for the coin to hit the water? So the water would be here, lovely water, and the water has a height of 0. So basically, when does this equal 0? So when does this quadratic equal 0? So I'm going to divide everything by negative 16 just to make the problem easier to factor. If it's factorable, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, negative 6t minus 7. So I divided everything by a negative 16. This factors into t minus 7 and t plus 1 equals 0, which gives me t equals 7 and t equals neg 1. The neg 1 gets rejected because time can't be negative, so the correct answer would be 7 seconds. It takes 7 seconds. Now, you can confirm all of that. Type the equation. You can't use t's, you have to use x's, but it's still the same thing. Type all of that into your y1. Look at the table, and it'll show you that at 3, it's 256 feet, and at 7, it's 0 feet. So it'll confirm to you, okay? You can always use your calculator to double check things. You can always use substitution to check things. Check your work, okay? All right, so a square and a rectangle have the same area. That's going to be super important when I write my equation. The length of the rectangle is 5 more than twice the length of the side of the square. So I made the side of the square x. So I'm going to make the length of the side of the rectangle twice 2x, and then 5 more plus 5. The width is going to be x minus 6 because it says 6 inches less. Okay, so x squared is going to equal the quantity 2x plus 5 times the quantity x minus 6. Area of parallelograms, squares, rectangles, it's all length times width, base times height. So you get x squared equals 2x squared plus 5x minus 12x minus 30. I'm going to set that equal to 0. So I would subtract that x squared, which makes a nice coefficient of 1. X squared minus 7x minus 30. This is factorable, my friends. So I get x minus 10 and x plus 3. T off, x minus 10 equals 0. So x, that should be 0. So x equals 10. x plus 3 equals 0, so x equals -3. That gets rejected because the length of the side of a square, rectangle, anything, it can't be negative. So x is 10. And then that gives me 10 minus 6 is 4. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 5 is 25. And this works because 10 times 10 is 100. And so is 25 times 4. This works, this works, it works, it works. Okay, so that's your first page. Those are your word problems. Any questions? You know where to find me. But you can reach me by email, group me, anything you want. X squared plus 9x plus 14 equals 0. I'm going to start by setting it equal to 0. This I notice is factorable. I'm going to do x plus 7 times x plus 2. I know I've said it before, but if I can factor it, I'm going to. Might not be your favorite, and really just find your favorite and do it. I do remember some kids that always did the quadratic formula. It wasn't my personal choice, but hey, it worked for them. Okay, so you set your factors equal to 0 and you get x equals -7 and x equals -2. All right, the next one I'm going to do by GCF factoring. I pull out a 2x, and that gives me x plus 4 equals 0. Set my factors equal to 0. I get x equals 0. And I get x equals -4. And again, you can check these by substitution. You just use your calculator. 2 parentheses 0 squared plus 8 times 0. Get an answer, and it should equal 0. Okay, I'm going to do this one by completing the square. So x squared plus 8x plus unknown equals 18 plus the same unknown. So I take the 8, I divide it by 2, that gives me 4. So this is going to be x plus 4 squared. I take the 4 and I square it, that gives me 16. Okay, 18 plus 16, 28 and 6 more makes 34. Oh, good thing I didn't try to factor it. That can't be factored. Okay, so take the square root of both sides. I get x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 34. So therefore, x is equal to -4 plus or minus square root 34. 34. Simplest form, it's done. Done. Finito, done. Okay. I'm going to go here. 4x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Let's see. I think I'm going to do quadratic formula. Okay. So a equals 4, b equals -2, and c equals -5. X is equal to -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, sorry, my handwriting's sloppy, all over 2a. Okay, so x is equal to, the negative of a negative is a positive, so that becomes +2. It's like not. Okay, square root. Calculator time. Okay, I mean, I could do it in my head. I guess I don't think it's lazy. I just want to make sure I'm right because I don't want to restart this whole video and then you guys would be like, what is she doing? She's lost her mind. Okay, so -2 squared minus 4 times -5. That gives me 84. Okay, good thing I didn't try to factor this because it's not factorable all over 8. Okay. If I want to simplify the 84, I could. It would be a 4 with a 21. So that would give me x is equal to 2 plus or minus 2 radical 21 over 8. On the test, it asks you for nearest tenth. Otherwise, you don't have to necessarily simplify. Okay, So x squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. This is factorable. It's x plus 7 and x minus 1. Okay, so I get x equals negative 7 and x equals 1. Again, you can always substitute. X squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. And because that's a negative 1, this is not factorable. So I'm going to do completing the square. Plus, I don't know. Move the 1 to the other side. 1 plus I don't know. Okay, half of negative 2. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. That's going to give me x minus 1 in my parentheses. Okay. Negative 1 squared equals 1. Add 1, add 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. Take the square root of both sides. I get x minus 1 equals plus or minus square root of 2. I'm going to put my final answer over here. X equals 1 plus or minus radical 2. That's all I got for you. I really hope everything is well with you guys. And please just contact me if you need any help. I will be more than glad to help you. Take care. Stay safe. Stay inside. Reach out. Bye.